Hey, what's up YouTubers? It's Robert back here with another video, and in today's video I want to talk a little bit about selling on eBay versus selling locally. I personally have been an eBay seller for a couple years now and have also sold on websites like Craigslist and OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace for going back at least 10 years with Craigslist, but even with the other phone apps that you can sell locally, I use those a lot, and I think that there's a lot of benefits to both eBay as well as local marketplaces. So just wanted to compare and contrast those a little bit, give you a little bit of my personal feedback in regards to why you might want to consider moving more of your business towards eBay or more of your business towards buying and selling locally, depending on what your own personal goals are and what you like to sell. So again, my name's Robert. I'm here for all things eBay related, as well as personal finance and just self-improvement in terms of your own economic posturing. So I appreciate you guys following in today and joining this video. And if you like what you hear, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and comment down below with any of your thoughts, criticisms, or just your own personal experiences, because we all kind of are in this together. So let's get started. So like I said, I started mostly selling on local marketplaces, a lot of stuff on Craigslist and OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace. Those three specifically are what I've always used. And I would go out and I'd buy items on one platform, and then I'd list them and sell them on another one, and just be looking for things that were listed poorly, or somebody didn't totally know what they had, or I just felt like I could kind of make an offer that would be good for them, but I knew that I could sit on the item for a little bit longer to then get the higher return. People that are really in a hurry to sell things, and they're not as concerned with how much they get for it. There's a lot of opportunity there to buy something and then immediately turn around and try and resell it. And that works really well on local marketplaces where you can be doing garage sales, finding things that are larger items that people just want to get rid of, get out of their house. Maybe they're moving, estate sales, things like that. There's a lot of great finds that are on items that you might not want to ship. But if you have the space for them and you can sit on them for a little bit, there's usually pretty good margin in a lot of those items. I've done that with everything from furniture to vehicles, jewelry, watches, a lot of items that I would like to meet with somebody in person for that transaction when I go back to sell it, and not be concerned about being scammed on eBay with some of those higher dollar values. Watches specifically are one of those things that I was very concerned about being scammed through eBay. And so when you're dealing with people locally, once you made that transaction, you're done. There's no return policy to worry about, or 30-day guarantees, or the shipping back and forth. You have your transaction and it's over, it's done with. And I love the simplicity of that. I love being able to make that deal and then move on and not worry about eBay taking money out of your account because the seller complained about something. So that works really well on any items that you don't want to deal with potentially having to return, any items that you don't want to have to ship, larger items. Like I said, furniture is one that I really like dealing with, but I would never want to even try to worry about shipping furniture. Like, it's easier for me to tell somebody, yeah, you have a truck, come pick it up, or if it's small enough, I'll bring it to you, drop it off there, and then you move on. And that's just, it's awesome. It's so simple, it's so straightforward. And another reason to do more business on the local level like that is if you're not necessarily trying to make this really scalable business, but you find items here and there, and you're able to pick something up and then turn around and flip it, and it's just kind of smaller scale for you. It's fun, but maybe you have a few items that you like to do that with, and you can just kind of do that on a real small scale, make it very easy. You don't have to worry about the accounting sides of it. You don't have to worry about filing taxes at the end of the year. If you don't plan on treating it like a business, and it's just kind of you clearing out your house, or you find items here and there, and it's just small scale, then it's really much more straightforward. eBay still has parameters where if you're doing under a certain amount, you don't need to claim that, but it's much easier for it to ramp up quickly on eBay, where when you do it on your local marketplace, you're meeting with people, kind of off the grid, and you can make those transactions and move forward. It's largely you're dealing with cash transactions, and it's just easier to kind of, keep that with not having it, feel like it's got to be a business thing. You got to worry about the IRS and all that kind of stuff. So if that's kind of the boat that you're in and you're just getting started, it's really, really just clean, simple, straightforward to deal with the local marketplaces. Some of the drawbacks on the local marketplace, you don't have as big of an audience. So certain items that are very niche, you may not, have access to the buyer that's looking for that specific item near as easily. I know for some people there's, elements of safety that are a concern when you're meeting with people face to face. You want to make sure that you're doing that in a safe environment, and you're not putting yourself in a situation where you could be robbed or hurt or anything like that. That's never been a concern for me, but I'm pretty diligent about where it is that I would make those transactions, and I have confidence in being able to take care of myself. But for any females that are doing this, that you don't want to go in the wrong places at the wrong times of day. Put yourself in a situation where you're with somebody that you don't feel safe around or comfortable with. That's certainly a consideration to have. But again, with certain items, it just makes so much more sense to deal with people that are in your own local community. A lot of items that maybe are specific to your area that other people really like. A lot of the buyers that might be after that are probably closer to you anyways. But moving over to the eBay side of things, you immediately go to a much larger marketplace. And so, some of those smaller niche items that aren't widely being sought after, you have a much better chance of finding your buyer on eBay than you do on OfferUp, on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, any of those. Another reason that I really like eBay is if you're dealing with certain items that you can buy in bulk quantities, then you can create your listing on eBay and have it, one listing with as many of the items as you have in inventory. So you create one listing for an item that you have 100 identical items of, and you can put it on eBay, and then it'll just keep track as you make sales of it as to how much inventory is left, and you just kind of manage that. But if you're looking to get into something where you're buying lot quantities of a particular item, then it's really easy to set that up and manage your inventory. I personally don't really have any items like that. Occasionally I'll come up with an item that maybe I'll buy 5 to 10 of, but I'm largely going out and buying things used, garage sales, thrift stores, one-off items that I can list on eBay. So I don't really get into the bulk quantities. I'm not buying things wholesale and then listing on eBay, although that's a model that I'm certainly interested in. And I think if you've got access to buying something at a huge discount that you can sell in multiple large quantities on eBay, then that's great. That's ideal, because that'll keep you spending probably a lot less time going through thrift stores if you find some type of an item that you can really deal with in bulk like that. But with eBay also, you have so many other small items that are they're easy to ship. And in that case, on the local level, maybe it doesn't really make sense for you to bother trying to meet up with somebody for a small item. It actually makes more sense for you to just package it, throw it in the post office, and ship it off. And there's a lot of items that to me is much easier. I sell a lot of ties. I don't really want to be meeting up with people all over town to get $20 or $30 from them for a tie. For me, I'd rather I have all my ties in a bin, and as I get sales on eBay, I throw them in a small package. I have a USPS that's 2 minutes from me. I just throw it in there, ship it off, and that's actually much easier than trying to go meet up with somebody over a tie. That's just not a high enough dollar item for me to really bother my time and energy and gas to go out and meet somebody to make that transaction. So again, with local stuff, I primarily like to deal with more expensive, larger items that it's worthwhile meeting with somebody. And with eBay, I love dealing with, the smaller things that I can get a whole bunch of, pick stuff up for $2 to $5, sell them for $30 to $40, or, in some cases more. But you can make your money on the volume. The margins are certainly great on eBay, as I've talked about in other videos. But, if you have the ability to store, a lot of particular items and then just sit on them for whatever period and just watch those sales come in, things like ties, things like t-shirts, clothing is what I really deal a lot with, because I find it easy to store, pretty easy to list, and I don't really get any type of returns on it. Electronics actually kind of scare me a little bit. I haven't wanted to deal with shipping out electronics, but clothes I just find to be really easy, and that's something that for me it just makes way more sense to do on eBay than to bother with meeting people here locally. So that's one of the big benefits with eBay. One of the other things to consider with eBay though is your ability to grow that and scale it is, I think, much greater than on your local level, and that could be a positive, or that could be I guess somewhat of a negative. If you really want to get serious with it and start picking up a lot of items, then eBay, the sky's the limit. But you're going to have costs associated with that. You have to pay for the listings. They're taking a percentage of it, and that's something that you don't deal with on your local marketplaces. You sell an item for $100 on OfferUp, you keep $100. You sell an item on eBay for $100, and you're probably keeping $90 of that at the most. eBay is going to take roughly 9-10% plus whatever shipping costs that you have. If you offer free shipping, they start to dwindle into that. And then if you have a certain number of items, you have to pay a store subscription on eBay on top of that. So it starts to involve a lot more monitoring of all of your true costs to actually run your eBay store. And if you're just doing it on a really small level, you may not have to deal with that too much, but it's amazing how quickly you will find yourself needing to really monitor all of those additional costs that you have. So it really makes more sense if you do intend to scale it. But like I said, with that, now you need to be paying attention to what your cost of goods sold are, and what your net sales and net revenues are at the end of the year. Even if you don't hit the threshold of what eBay requires for 1099, then you're still going to probably have some amount that they still report, and you do need to keep track of to some degree. So with all of that being said, you guys might be wondering, like, what is my actual recommendation, or which do I think is better? Do I personally prefer selling locally, or do I personally prefer selling on eBay? Truth be told, I kind of started more on the local level and then moved towards eBay, and now I find myself somewhat shifting a little bit more of my focus back on the local level. And it's really, for me, it's just some of the particular items that I've been dealing with. I've been kind of investing into a little bit more expensive, larger items, and then turning around and flipping those. And fortunately for me, I have the space to do that. But that doesn't mean that I'm ignoring the eBay business, or that I'm trying to move away from that at all. For me, I like to use both, and I kind of just dabble in both. It's not something that I'm trying to be a full-time reseller in either category there. So my recommendation would be anybody that's looking to kind of get their feet wet and just do something on a smaller scale, kind of keep it off the grid a little bit, not have to worry about the commissions that you have to pay eBay. Maybe you've got larger items that don't make sense to ship. Those are some of the things that you might want to just start by throwing them up on OfferUp. One of the things that I love about OfferUp is how quickly you can put a listing up. You don't need to include near as much information as you do on eBay. Same thing with Craigslist, with a Facebook Marketplace. The ability to list items quickly is just awesome on those. It's way quicker to list an item on one of those than to do it on eBay. And so a lot of the items that you don't want to focus near as much on, your camera quality and all of those things, there's not near as many restrictions or requirements on how you list items on those. So, you know, for somebody that's just getting started and you don't want to have to spend all the time figuring out how you're going to perfect the listing process in that, start locally. Like, those are really great, you know, apps, and it's really no loss if an item doesn't sell. You know, you're not paying for any kind of store subscription. There's really no risk involved with it in terms of, you know, the money that you need to get up and running. eBay is really easy to get up and running as well, but, you know, as I mentioned, it can scale quickly. So I would recommend eBay for anybody that wants to do that, you know, wants to go out and start buying, you know, larger quantities of items and try and get, you know, a couple hundred items up right away on eBay and start to see that momentum happen with the sales. You know, for me, I've got about 350 items that I've stayed consistently listed at, where, you know, I've get up to maybe 400 and then it kind of dwindles back down. I ever get down to like 300 and I tend to, you know, really overhaul into listing. But that's kind of been where I've stayed. And, you know, eventually I want to work up to, you know, closer to about 500 listings total. And anybody that's, you know, looking to do that, then again, I encourage you to get on eBay and start selling, because it is fun. It's not overly difficult. And there's a tremendous amount of potential for you to put a little extra coin in your bank. So, all right, guys, that's my recommendations for you. Those are my thoughts on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace versus, you know, eBay. Would love to hear your guys' comments below. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much there, but I just wanted to kind of have a little conversation about, you know, what I think the pros and cons of each platform are, give you guys a little bit of insight. And again, I appreciate you guys watching. Hit the like button if this was helpful at all. Comment down below and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. And let me know in the comments what you'd maybe like to see a video on. And until next time, I'm Robert, and I appreciate you guys watching. Happy selling.